All right, guys, today I got something special for you. I brought in a close friend of mine, Mikey T. He's an artist, an engineer, and I interviewed him about questions as an artist that influence his recording style and how he does things. I hope that it's super informative and helpful to anyone watching. The point of the video and the point of interviewing him was to get some insight into what's helpful for him as an artist and an engineer, knowing what he knows, how the recording process and producing his music as a whole, what can be done really efficiently, what helps create vibe, and what helps the process as a whole. So I guess all I'm trying to say is hopefully you can listen to his answers and maybe they'll give you some ideas in your craft when you're making music. I hope you enjoy. Check it out. All right, man. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Do you think it'd be cool if I asked you a couple questions?
Yeah.
All right, first one I got for you. What do you like to do and what do you need to get a good vibe in the studio? Whether that be technical or physical, about the space, like how do you like to get into it?
That's a good question. Well, me personally, I don't like to have a lot of people in there. I know some people do. They like to bring like a ton of friends and like have drinks and food and stuff like that. For me, I kind of just like it being myself and the engineer, or maybe one other person. I don't mind if there's like an intern or anything in there, as long as everyone's kind of just, doing what they got to do. I like to have my coffee or tea with me. And personally, I like to do my sessions in the morning or the early afternoon is when I work the best.
Anything technical, like what you need, like from the control room side of things? Like, what do you like to hear in your ears?
So in my ears, obviously, I want to hear either my auto tune or all my effects and stuff like that. If it's possible, in the headphone box, I like to control my vocals and the beat separately, so I can kind of control what I hear. I also we have the opportunity to use a TV in one of our studios, and I can even see the edit screen on the TV, and that's really useful for me to tell where we are in the song.
All right, Mikey. So you're an engineer.
Yeah.
You're around music constantly. And I'm sure that this happens to people who aren't engineers or aren't in the studio all the time, aren't studio rats. People just get busy. How do you prevent yourself from being burnt out? And what do you do to get into the studio and take time to make music?
That's a good question. We're definitely in there at the studio sometimes 12 hours a day. I've definitely been there even longer than that sometimes.
Right.
It can go anywhere from being there for 2 hours a day to like 14. And sometimes they're maybe like 7 days of the week, and that's very easy to get burnt out. Usually, like in between sessions, I might work on something lightly, or maybe at least like listen to something back. If the studio is open, I'll stay late after sessions and I'll be there in the night working. But my favorite time to be there is actually Sundays, because Sundays nobody else is there and it's really quiet, and I can throw the football games on and I can work on my own music at the same time. And that's when I get the most done, is Sunday, like afternoons.
Okay, so what you would say is like being in your own space, having some privacy, and then creating an environment that's just super homey and comfortable?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, this is a super loaded question because like we work together, but I want you to be 100% honest, whatever that means. Do you like having someone else work on your post-production, mixing, mastering, etc. for your songs?
Yes, actually. I really do, because for me, myself, like working on a song or a project, whether it's like I'm starting with producing the beat, writing it, then I'm going in and recording it myself, and then I do the mixing myself, and then I'm promoting it and releasing it myself. Like, you can get really burnt out on the same song, because that time span can be months long, and at that point, that song that's maybe like a couple months old to you is still not even released for some people, and they haven't heard it. So like, I get burnt out on a song before it's even released. So sometimes bringing in someone else to help speed up that process, or at least kind of take that burden off of me, like really helps. And even like getting fresh ears on it, like someone else has a different objective opinion on it, is always a good idea too. Whether even that's just a friend of yours trying to listen to it, you know what I mean? But yeah, no, even when it comes to like mixing and mastering and producing too, because I love listening to other people's like beats and stuff. Like I always want to hear what other people have, or have someone else mix it, to whatever needs to be done to get it the sound it needs to be at.
Yeah, for sure. I know the struggle because, like, sometimes even, especially me, like, being a mixing, mastering engineer, like, I'll be working on a song of mine and I'm like, like, I don't want to pay someone to mix it. Like, I know I can do it.
Hmm.
But at the same time, when you're, like, down that revision rabbit hole and you're on, like, version 14 of a song and you're like, I should just had someone do it.
Hmm. It's tough for myself too, and I know a lot of people do this as well, is when you're in the studio session recording the song, and this could be the same time you're writing it too, because some people write in the studio. There's not enough time during that session to do the full mix. A lot of times I'll just record it, maybe just slap a limiter on it and bounce out and head home, and then like it might be a couple weeks before I go back in and mix it, you know. So having someone else there that I can send it to finish the mix and master is so much easier. It takes so much time off.
All right, Mikey, I got the last question for you.
Yeah.
What do you look for in someone that you're going to collaborate with? Whether that be different artist that's going to feature on the song, or engineer, producer, videographer. Like, what are you looking for?
Well, definitely, you want to work with someone who's serious about their craft and is going to take it as seriously as you do. When it comes to working with producers, I want to work with someone who knows my style and can like offer something to that. Every now and then, like YouTube beats are fine, but when someone knows you, knows your sound, and they make a you type beat, that's awesome. And like I almost always will go with that person over anyone online. When it comes to engineers, it's kind of just like a friendly relationship. You know, I get to work on my own stuff, but I also like working with any other people who come through the studio and stuff like that. And it's the same with other artists too. Like anyone who wants to lock in and make a song, obviously like people's styles and genres are going to be diverse. So I'm working with people who we can make a great product with, but even then I like to experiment, you know. And then when it comes to mixing and stuff like that, like it just comes down to someone you trust, and someone you know knows what they're doing and has some experience, and comes down to working with someone you know and has like great experience and great resume and stuff like that. And then just like that. But I mean, I'm always obviously open to working with whoever in the future.
All right, well, thanks for coming along and answering these questions. I hope it'll be helpful for other people who check it out.
Yeah, of course.
All right, thanks for tuning in. I hope this was super informative and helpful and gave you some good ideas in your music making process. Thanks so much for checking out. And as always, for more info, check out brownmixandmaster.com.